and welcome. This is going to be an introduction to Blackboard, and we're going to talk about some of the basic things that you can do to set up and get started. In this particular short video, we're going to look at how you create left-hand margin buttons and different sections, how you insert files and folders and different items, and how to upload and list files within the Blackboard shell and within the different ways that you wish to organize things. Things like Word files, PDF files, PowerPoint files, Excel, or anything else that you want to upload, as long as it is compatible with, the folks that are going to be receiving your information. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to think of Blackboard as a series of files and folders that you can set up and you can organize that make it easier for students and participants to become part of your course. I also want you to think of Blackboard as a set of tools that are already loaded here that you can kind of pull down, list, and establish within individual files and folders to kind of augment your course and kind of make some things happen. So let's take a look at the first thing. The first thing I want you to do is to create a left-hand margin button. Now the left-hand margin buttons are these buttons over here. Okay? These are the individual buttons that you can scroll down through and you can see what's going on within your course. So once you're doing that, you can see all the different files that are here. And in this particular shell, this is actually the lab shell that we're going to be working in. This particular shell shows you a lot of different things that are already put in place here and how it can be organized. Now all these left-hand buttons can be established very easily. First thing that you do is you reach up here and you click and just take your cursor and put it over top of the plus. And when you click on this, you can click down a number of different areas, links, web links, course links, but I'm going to just ask you right now to put a content area in place. Once you click on the content area, now you can name this. And what I'm going to name mine is my last name, and I'm going to call it Fuller 1. And I'm going to make this available to users. Now if you don't click that here, you can make it available later. And then we're going to submit. And what that has done is it has created a folder, and it'll put it at the bottom of the list. And this is my folder. What I'm going to ask you to do is do the exact same thing, but obviously you're going to use your last name. Now once we have done this, what I can do is you'll notice you put your cursor again over top of this. You see this arrow. What I can do is I can drag this up and put it wherever I want it to be. So I'm going to ask you to put this one, I'm going to just say we're going to put them all at the top here. Okay, so we just kind of drag it till we get it where we want it, and I'm going to put it at the top of the list right below the line here. Okay, so that'll help it to be organized. Now what that does is it sets up an empty folder. So if I click on this, it takes me into an empty folder that really has nothing to offer at this point other than a platform for me to add whatever I want. So if you look over at the top, there are 4 key buttons. You've got the Build Content area, which has items, files, links, audios, images, videos, web links, whole host of other things. You can put a content folder in place, you can put a blank page up, or what Robert Morris has done is we've bought into several different things like SlideShare, and we have a link to YouTube videos which you can search through here and will load up a little different. But this is just a particular area. You can also click over top of assessment where you can build in tests, you can develop a survey, you can put assignments in place that will link up to your gradebook. You can have self and peer assessment. You can use and set up and establish a Turnitin assignment, which is just the plagiarism software that kind of reviews whatever work is posted against anything else. You can go to tools, and this is where you can set up, and we'll talk about this in future videos and presentations on discussion boards, blogs, journals, wikis. You can establish groups. You can put a whole host of things in here. Or you can establish any partner content, textbooks, things of that nature. But for now, we're going to stay within the building content area. So the first thing I'm going to ask you to do is to establish the difference between an item and a content folder. What the item is just you can put a blank item up. Now you can put a folder in place. It's like anything else that you would do on your computer. Think of your computer as a big file drawer where you're going to establish folders, and within those folders you're going to put certain files or items. The same thing establishes here, is just set up a little different. So for our purposes right now, we're going to set up an item. Okay, so I click on item, and now I come in and I can name my item. So what I'm going to do is what I generally start most of my lessons with is something called weekly focus. Now that's just how I do it. You may want to do something else, but I establish a weekly focus that for me makes things a little easier because I can lay out what's going to happen here. Once I put down the title of what I'm doing, I can change the color if I so desire. Just click on this and you get a color palette. Now I'm going to leave it black for now. And then I come into this particular area, and you notice you got a toolbar all here that allows you to do a lot of different things here. You can put pictures in, you can put graphics, you can do a number of things. But I'm just going to say, welcome to week 1. In this lesson, we are going to discuss online learning. Okay, so I can go through and put anything I want in here, but you know what, maybe I just don't like the default font. So what I can do is go back in, highlight, and then I can change the fonts. I can make that bold, I can italicize it, I can underline it if I want, or put a strike through, or I can come over here and change the color. Now I kind of like a consistent color with the blue. You can use whatever you want. Some people get a little font mania. You need to stay clean with the fonts, and you need to stay kind of consistent with it. Sometimes different colors bother different folks. So once you've done this, you just keep it very, very generic. Keep it setting. You can put far more information than I am here, but this is just for demonstration purposes. And what you do is hit submit. Now what we've established is this particular item here. Okay, so anybody coming in, this is one of the first things they'll see. They can read this. You can do lots of things. Now if I want to change this, all I do is come back up, put my cursor just next to weekly focus or whatever your title is, click on it, and you can delete it, you can move it, you can copy it to other areas within the course, or you can come up and edit this. The editing takes you right back into the screen again, and I can do whatever editing I wish to do. Okay. The other thing that you can do here is you can attach a file. Just browse your computer, find the file that you want to upload, and then just establish it. So I'm going to browse my computer. Let's find a particular file of any kind. So I'm just going to put this file, Mark Twain once said. Okay. Now that may not be a file that works, but you'll notice it lists here, and it's creating a link to this file. It's going to upload this within the Blackboard shell, and all I do again is, once I've made all the changes I want, click submit. Before you do that, you can also develop this in such a way that nobody else is able to see this but you, and that's what I generally do while I'm developing things, but then I open it up. So you can click no to permit pure users not to see this, or leave it as yes. You can also track the views. You can set dates and when this will post and when it will basically be taken down. But basically at this point I'm just going to leave it as open. So now you notice that not only is my little one-line message there, but also I have a file. And if I click on that file, the file will open. Students will be able to see it and will be able to read it. So basically that's how I've done this. Now, if I want to go in and create a folder, I can say build content, come down here and click on content folder. Same kind of screens come up here, but instead of putting an item in, what I'm actually doing is I'm listing this as a content folder. And I can list whatever I want, and again, say something like within this folder are several course examples and files that we will be using. And again, I can do the exact same thing. I can change to whatever font that I want, and I just seem to kind of like this, and I think everybody will kind of find their own way with this. Now what I'm doing is I'm not really putting content, so I can't basically attach a file to this like I did with the item. I'm establishing a folder. So when I submit, I can do this. Again, going back in to edit this, you can put this back to where you want, and maybe I want to say click on the link to enter the folder. One of the things that I like to do with this is to make sure that I give enough instruction that students understand what it is that they are supposed to do and when. You don't want to leave them hanging, okay, so that they know what to do. Well, that didn't change to blue. Okay, so we click submit. Now we've got this, and again, you come in and you click on content folder, and you now have another empty folder. And again, you see the same things. I can put items, I can put other folders, I can put files. So let's say that I want to put a file in here, which is a little different than an item. Basically the same thing, but just a little different. You put a file in here, and you can name the file whatever you want. I'm going to call it welcome file. Okay, and again, you can change the colors, and I'm going to say browse my computer. So I'm going to go back into the computer, and I'm going to find a particular file that I want to upload. So let's just say for this, I'm looking for a particular file. Okay, let's just say I'm going to load this file, the traditional versus the online sheet. Okay, and I can load any one of those files. I can load it as a PDF. I can load it any way I want. You can say open this in a new window, which yes, I would prefer that. And permit viewers to see this, absolutely. And then I click submit. What this now does is it puts a welcome file, and I can also go back in again and edit. And what that does again, if I wanted to change something or change the file, that will make that change. If it's a welcome file, students know at this point, they click on this, and it will open this particular file, and it opens it as a Word document. Okay, very, very simple, and this is how a student will download what they're looking to do. Okay, so this just basically opens the file, and then they can do whatever you want within there, and you can give them whatever instructions to do. Okay, so simple enough. This comes back, and as we look here, we can upload and use any of those files that we want, and this now becomes our content. Okay, to get back where I was, you can, you're within this content folder now. Go back to your main file, and you've got other items here. You can upload links. If you have a specific website that you want students to go to, you would click on, let's say, web link. This would be another option. So I'm going to say Robert Morris University. Okay, and the URL for this would be https://rmu.edu. And I'm just using this because I know that particular URL. Okay, so what we do is we click on this, and what this does is this will now create a link, and I can put whatever instructions that I want. Please go to the RMU website and read the academic integrity. Okay? Alright, and maybe I could give more information than that, and I probably would. But again, I try and keep things consistent with this. So what this is going to do is it's going to establish a link, and what I can also do is just take you right to that page. I can put the larger URL there. So we click on submit, and again what this does is it establishes. I can say click on the link, and if I click this, it should take me, if I typed it in, it takes me right to the Robert Morris website. And I could be a little bit more definitive in my descriptions and instructions, but this is basically how you can set things up and make things happen. Okay? So instructions are very simple. You start to see how you can make your folder and a shell start to take shape. The key element with any of this is clarity of instructions, so that when a student gets in, they know what to do. This becomes the key element to being successful with any of this. Now, in future lessons, we're going to talk about other things like discussion boards, how you create blogs, how you can establish synchronous rooms. So we'll kind of go through some of those in the lessons to come. As always, please feel free to contact me if you have questions about this. We will be using this information for you to establish your own files, your own left-hand buttons, and this is where we're going to be using this for our lab shell. So as I said, if you have questions, please feel free to contact me and we can move from there. Otherwise, thank you and have a great day.